Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast, the nerdy podcast hosted by two northern nerds. I'm one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm the other host, Paul.
And this week is episode 9.
Yes, we've got to
Episode
9.
9.
We're still talking.
and we still haven't had a fight yet. Isn't it amazing? So this week is cartoons.
Yes, our cartoon favourite top 5 favourite cartoon TV shows, which I thought would have been a lot easier than it has been, but it turned into a bit of a mindfuck. So yes, to put it polite.
I said before we started this that my list is boring, and I'm hopefully going to entertain you by singing a lot. Because there's one of them that I know the theme song of, and I bugged the life out of my husband with it last night. So I'm going to do the same to you as well. So have we got anything?
That's a very good point. A lot of the theme tunes from the cartoons of our childhood, like the 80s, were either amazingly good or so awful that they're stuck in your head forever. Like you can probably still hear a few of them rattling around your brain right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it doesn't help that me and Anth were up until 3 o'clock this morning watching the intros to 80s and 90s cartoons because I needed some inspiration because, as always, I leave things to the last minute. And I said to him, I need a list for cartoons. And he went, I don't know why you've picked cartoons because I'm not a cartoon person at all. And Anth was like, right, we'll have a look through some lists. And we just ended up singing the majority of the songs because the songs were so 80s and so catchy. It was good fun, but we lost nearly like a whole night doing it.
Gotcha. Like I say, it sounds like a good night though, so I'm very jealous.
It's not the first time we've done this, by the way. It happens once a year or something. We lose a good couple of hours of our lives just watching these intros.
I wish that's another good point. I wish I could actually use the actual intros to the cartoons in the podcast, but you know what YouTube's like, will get shut down within a minute.
Exactly. You gotta be careful. So you just have to rely on my singing. So have we got anything to cover before we get into it?
Yeah, just to go back on the topic that you started a few weeks ago, like promoting nerdy businesses.
Which I totally forgot to do last week. Sorry.
I think we're going to introduce lots of little things here and there because as we grow, like I say, we'll learn new things and like I say, as the feedback comes as well, so we'll try and entertain you and give you useful knowledge as well. So a lot of our listeners, well, if you're listening, you probably know about a few geeky shops. So if you do know any as well, get in touch, let us know. Comment, email, like I say, on the Facebook group, which is Nerdy Up North Community, or on Instagram, which is just Nerdy Up North, which again is growing quite well. So just to promote a shop I've used quite a lot during lockdown as well. It's called Be More Geek, which is in Newcastle, just outside of Granger Market. There's also a shop in the Metro Centre, just around the corner from Primark, and also a shop in Middlesbrough. Yeah, it's only a little one in the Metro Centre, but it's quite quaint. But
yes, I know where it is.
It's got a giant Spider-Man in the window.
Yeah, didn't it used to just be a Harry Potter shop though?
No, that's the big one over the road from Granger Games. This is a little shop. It's like upstairs, the escalator when you go around where Build-A-Bear is, but above it.
Yes, I know exactly where Build-A-Bear is because it's my favourite shop.
I suppose you'll be getting the Lord of the Ring range that they just brought out.
Yes, I'm already pre-ordering Gandalf. I was just talking to Vic about this the other day from The Girl Strikes Back, and she was like, she really liked the Gandalf. I was like, I really like Frodo, but Frodo's not my hero in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like Frodo's not the hero of that story. The hero is Sam.
Yeah.
And I want a Sam. And then I thought if I get Frodo, Anth will just do that annoying voice he does of his impression of Frodo all the time. So I'm pre-ordering that. The main point is I'm pre-ordering Gandalf.
And that's a good point as well. Like I say, Vic is one of the nicest people I've met on, not met in person, spoke to through social media. And again, if you don't follow her channel, The Girl Strikes Back, she is hilarious and she loves her toys.
She does.
X-Files to her, she goes nuts. So
yeah, X-Files and Lord. That's like, I think that's how we bonded, was through Lord of the Rings. I just love the girl. I love her accent. She's just so quirky. I want to get her on this show. We just need to find a good time, because the girl she's just gone back to work recently, so she is very busy.
Yes. But yes, and just to go back and be more geek, there is a guest store in Middlesbrough, which I'm not been to.
No, me neither.
But they have, like I say, I've dealt with them quite a lot. Like I say, with my pop collection, I do normally collect some, then trade them in as well, which they have give me good prices, and I've traded in for the NECA figures as well. Like I've got all the Halloween, like I say, Scream. Jason and Leatherface, and I've got all the Turtle movie figures from there as well, and they've always been
even great. More jealous.
And they always do give us great deals. And the guy who runs it, I don't know his name, but I've interacted him on Facebook and on Instagram when we've been doing deals. He's always been really canny and friendly as well. And when you go in the shop, it's not where you go when you feel uncomfortable, but they do have an amazing range, and like they do the hard to get pops as well. So like say what the people call the grails. So if you ever look for a hard to find pop, get in touch with them, and they will always find a way to get it for you.
Support them.
Yes.
Because there's another shop in Newcastle, which I'm not going to mention the name of. You don't need to go do business with them. Basically, use these guys because they're nice. They come across lovely on their social media. I know during lockdown, I think it was them who were doing they were doing their own deliveries.
Yeah, drop-offs. Yeah.
Like, come on, I know, like, a lot of businesses don't need to do that, but they went out of their way to, like, you know, these little figures do give a lot of joy to people, and they kind of understood that. I really like them. I like them.
Cool.
Support them.
So that's my little tidbit of the day for support local businesses.
Support your local. Did you just big thumbs up? I looked down when you did it.
Yeah, I went all awkward teenager on skid, yes. But yeah.
Well, so we'll go to our main feature, which is, as always, our top 5 of a topic which one of us is chosen. And this was kind of a joint one because we are trying to like
mix it up,
spread things out, and make sure that we're not doing the same thing that we did the week before, or kind of keeping it interesting. So we went with cartoons.
Cartoons on the Facebook page is always quite a popular topic. A lot of people do like to talk about them. The problem is, without being our age now, I probably haven't watched many of the cartoons that I watch even though I love them. And you try and I say, I love this cartoon, and I try and tell you why I love it, I'll be fucked.
Yep. This is what I thought when I was writing the list out, because I picked it last night. I wrote it all down this morning, and I'm like, oh, hopefully I can hold a conversation about this. I really do.
Certainly.
Hopefully I can. So, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah. Like I say, with my 5, I've went for pretty much the first 5 that came to me head as well. Which I'm quite surprised that they're not as old as I was expecting. I was expecting to go really old because, like I say, I grew up with Cartoon Network, when that first got launched.
Fuck you. This is why you and my husband would get on very well, because he was the same.
So all the shows on there I used to watch, but the first one I'm going for, this is probably the oldest one in my list, which again, my dad will not speak to us because he loves the very old ones. So 1987 it was released. Ran for 7 seasons. When it was released in the UK, they changed the name of it because they thought the name in America was too violent. And there was 4 brothers.
Oh.
They were green. So in the UK, we got the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, but everywhere else got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So when they released it, they thought ninja sounded too violent and scary for kids.
Even though they're carrying they're carrying swords round, and I don't see the reasoning with that one, the UK. But I didn't pick this one because I knew you would be.
I was obsessed. This was my obsession as a kid. Like, I loved the Turtles. I remember I didn't watch it from the first episode. I think, like, say, it just when when you're just flicking through channels when you're a kid in your bedroom, and I think it was used to be on BBC One where you used to get all the cartoons. They used to show at certain times, like when you finish school, like 3:30 till 6:00. They used to have solid cartoons, and the Turtles was one of them. And it was one where, like I say, the big Technodrome came into view, and these turtles were trying to get into the Technodrome, and this little brain thing called Krang and Shredder and Rocksteady and Bebop were all there, and it was just like the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen. But the thing that catches you and keeps you, as what we talked about before, is the theme tune. So as soon as that starts, even thinking about Turtles, you can hear like Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, and it goes in about like Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Splinter. This was so bright as well. The colours, it hadn't, like, I know we grew up in the 80s and everything was bright, but even then, and it's hard to believe that such a vibrant and kid-friendly thing come from quite an adult comic. Because I don't know if you've ever read the original Turtle comics. I did look into it, but they're very expensive.
Really expensive. No, I've not read them. But if you watch The Toys That Made Us on Netflix, they go into the whole back history of it. So interesting.
Yes.
So interesting.
Like, taking how the two makers fell out and stuff. I love that show. But the elements of the show as well, like I say, it was like four brothers getting along, and each of them had different personalities. Everyone had the favourite, and my favourite.
Who was your favourite?
Was Michelangelo.
Oh, he was mine too. He was a sister. We were talking. I asked Anthony last night, and I was like, "Who was your favourite turtle?" And he went, who was it? Raphael. He was like, "He's the coolest." And I went, "Whoa." I was like, Michelangelo. That kid had his shit together. And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I went, "Pizza." Anthony went, "Ah, well, that makes sense." Pizza and partying.
My two favourite were always Michelangelo and Donatello. I didn't really like Raphael. I thought he had a bad attitude, but that was me being a teenage kid. Well, not even a teenage kid.
Younger than that.
Yeah, it's scary because a lot of people think the Turtles came out in the 90s, but I think that's when they probably got introduced to the Turtles more.
Yeah.
Like I say, 1987 was when the cartoon actually did get released. I know they did bring out a film, which I absolutely loved, even though it's the cheesiest thing in the world. But
I love it.
What I couldn't believe as well, because I watched it recently, the UK original cut was cut to pieces because of Michelangelo. Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
Because at the time, the nunchucks was a banned weapon in the UK. So the film couldn't show Michelangelo's nunchucks in the film. So every time Michelangelo was using the nunchucks, it was cut out. And the bit where, Shredder and Splinter fight at the end of spoilers, and Splinter turns him around and he uses the nunchuck to grasp Shredder and he keeps him hanging there for a while. But the original cut, he just threw him over and it doesn't hang. So if you watch it now, it's a little bit of a different film. I think there was a good, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes of the film cut out back in the day, back when we were kids.
The Turtles was such a phenomenon. Like, if you watch The Toys That Made Us, that gives you the history of the creation. It does not give way to the gravity of how impactful this cartoon and in the movies were, because we didn't get it. And I watched I follow a girl who I'm friends with, Laura Legends, on YouTube, and she just does a lot of, she's a toy collector and nostalgia, and she did a whole thing on the Turtles musical show they did. Okay. And it's the creepiest thing you've ever seen. It's real life, them turtles from the films doing a rock concert. It is the most surrealist thing you've ever seen, but that's how big it was. Like, it was huge.
And it was impossible to get the figures as well, because when the figures first came out, I think I managed to get my hands on a Donatello, but could I get like a Michelangelo, Leonardo?
Dude, it's 2020. but it's 2021 and we're still having the same issue with turtle figures. Like, they bring out new lines and people are still having issues now getting them figures out and getting them. It's ridiculous. Like, it's mind-blowing how these 4 turtles have impacted since like the 80s, even today. It's crazy.
Well, there's a rumor, well, not a rumor, that it was announced, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Seth Rogen's doing the reboot, the film.
That does not surprise me,
So
but I'm very happy about that. I
don't know if it's going to be cartoon or live action. I know the last attempts of live action weren't bad, but I don't think they're really...
I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I did, but I was trying to... Yeah, it didn't affect us, like, I didn't get triggered as much as I did when they'd done the Ghostbusters reboot. But yeah.
Oh my god, I've just thought of... Oh shit. Never mind. Move on, I'll get to it in a bit. I've just thought of one. God damn it.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, it was an on... yeah, okay. Bastard. Right. Sorry, back to the turtles.
Yes, but yes. I remember as well, I posted this story in the Facebook page today, just because we were talking about things that we used to do to try and reenact things we watched as a kid. I was always the weird kid that liked to try and be, like, say, do things like the pop culture or thing. And I had this brilliant idea one day that I was going to dress up like a turtle, but I didn't have the outfit. So I got my backpack, filled it up with so much shit to create a shell. Wow. I put a bandana around my head. It was just probably a tie or something from my dad's cupboard. And I went outside holding 2 pencils, and they were my size. So I was a turtle that day walking around the streets of Ripe. So yeah, so if you saw a little weird kid walking around like looking like he was going to start shit up, I really wasn't. I just was trying to be a turtle.
That is awesome. I have I come from a bit of a, I wouldn't say a big family, but like there's 10 grandkids, and we were every day in the summer holidays we were always together, always. Apart from my oldest cousin, because he was like he's the oldest cousin, is the one who got me into everything, and because of him, like all of my nerdiness really does come from his childhood. Like I stole it. I literally hijacked his childhood, because at the time there was only me and him with the 2 oldest, and then the rest of them came along a few years later. But in the summer we were always together. Turtles was always on the telly, because it was on like a breakfast TV thing. Like it was on at 7 o'clock in the morning, and with our parents, all working parents, we got dropped off at our grandparents' house, put in front of the telly until it was about 8, about a reasonable time to go outside, and then we'd be outside all day. Because my grandparents' house, which is literally like 2 seconds away from us, we used to have this massive tree. It was so old and it was so climbable. So it had the perfect grooves to get into it. And it's not turtle related, but it was Power Rangers.
Right.
We were Power Rangers.
Right, okay.
And I convinced my cousin that he would be able to jump out of the tree like the putty men do in the
Power Rangers.
And he jumped out the tree and broke his arm, and that was the last time we'll ever be able to climb the tree again.
You went unsupervised with your cousins after that.
I know, and I was the oldest as well out of all of them. But that's what we did. Like we would just be stuck in front of the telly watching cartoons until we were allowed to go outside. And that was
wasn't a bad childhood. See, we used to.
Oh my god, no, not at all.
Like I say, we used to do loads of weird stuff. I remember, like I say, one of my fondest memory of the Turtles, those who, like I say, are from Sunderland in the northeast, down Roker Beach, there's Smugglers pub, and next to it was always like a really run-down arcade. It's still there, but
yeah, I remember
got in the Turtles arcade game, and I lived down Roker at the time, so my mum during the summer holidays used to always just take us down Roker Beach. That's when I got terrified of Jaws, going back to a previous podcast. And I would spend like me pocket money, or like say as much money I could get out of my mum trying to complete the Turtles game, where you like say it was just a side scroller, a bit like Street Fighter, but you used to pick it could be 4 players, so you can get, if any kids around, you used to get them to join in, and you used to fight Bebop, Rocksteady. Rocksteady was the first boss, then it was Bebop, and then like Shredder, I think Baxter Stockton was on as well, but he used to go through all the sewers. But no, it was absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
Like I say, very fond memories of that arcade as well.
I always remember and this goes back to my weirdness of being able to remember feeling of things. I remember the handheld game. I'm sure someone put it on the group as well, or it might have been something I saw on Instagram.
Oh, it was
the handheld, like a green, it was just a
oblong thing.
Yeah, and it had two like at the bottom at the top, like circle controls and a couple of buttons. I always remember that.
Used to try and dodge things and stuff as well.
Yeah, just fight my cousins to get off it.
Yes, that's my first pick, the Teenage Mutant, and I'll give it its proper name now, Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage. Right, okay. So, oh, I might swap one out.
I know which one you're going to pick now.
I can't because I've got nothing written on it, so I'm not going to. Right, we're going back to 1988.
Right.
It's British.
Okay.
I, up until last night, generally thought the person who did the voiceover leading into the intro song was Vincent Price. It was not.
Right.
It was done by a company, Cosgrove Hall Films, which will mean nothing to us. Fun fact about this cartoon, it's a spin-off of Danger Mouse.
What?
Yeah, spin-off of Danger Mouse. It also falls into the nerd realm in a way because it was a monthly comic as well.
Right, okay.
It's Count Duckula.
Count Duckula.
In the heart of Transylvania.
Next time a video or two. Kelly Moon will be over the moon. You mentioned Count Duckula. She loves
Count Duckula. He's a vegetarian vampire, which is right up my street given that I am vegan. He's also voiced by the great David Jason.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a spin-off to Danger Mouse. Did not know that until today.
I did not know that either. So how did it spin off from Danger Mouse?
Did you think I read that part?
No, I thought...
I literally thought it was a spin-off to Danger Mouse. Because these are like... This is the conversation we were having earlier. Like, I'm not going to go out and watch this again.
Yeah.
I just remember being like a kid and absolutely... I think it was the David Jason aspect of it because David Jason was like huge in my house, like open all hours, the episodes of Porridge he was in, and the obvious being Only Fools and Horses.
This is going to sound really strange about a cartoon, but I remember like later watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show and getting Count Duckula vibes from that. Just because, like, say the characters in, like the big chicken nanny.
Well, yeah, because and then they look like them, don't they?
Yeah, so that I don't wonder if they actually used. I probably don't know if it was around at the same time based characters from that. I know it's generalized horror icons as well, like the butler and stuff, as the guy that helped him when it was supposed to put blood in, but put ketchup in when he created Count Duckula as well.
Yeah.
And like say all his adventures around, like say trying to be scary, but he ended up being like say the nicest vampire ever, and then the butler trying to turn him into being something more than he was. But I remember that one. Yeah, it was on. Was it on ITV or something on the mornings?
BBC, I think.
BBC.
But here's a fun fact for you.
Mm-hmm.
So Count Duckula was created by a British studio, Cosgrove Hall Films, which I mentioned earlier, as a spin-off of Danger Mouse. Doesn't explain the spin-off, but it just is that. In 1984, Nickelodeon acquired the US broadcast rights to Danger Mouse, which became a hit for the channel. After a few years, Nickelodeon then bought out Cosgrove Hall. So that is now Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And apparently,
please tell us
new version. Apparently, a new version's already been done in 2015.
Fuck off.
Yeah, did not know that.
Gonna have to look that up.
Did not know that. I picked it because every time it comes on one of those lists we watch, I get like a little bit excited. It reminds us of living in the street I live in now, because I didn't venture very far. I'm literally 2 seconds away from the house I grew up in. It reminds us of that house. It reminds us of my dad a lot.
Yeah.
My dad loves cartoons. Like my dad loves stop motion cartoons as well, and Trapdoor and Morph were like huge in our house. And I'm sure this used to play around the same time Trapdoor was on.
Mm-hmm. It's quintessential British horror as well, though. That's the thing. A lot of the
very Hammer,
horrors and stuff, it has that kind of feel to it.
Which I've only just started appreciating Hammer horror now.
Yeah.
In my late 30s, because I didn't appreciate it as because it wasn't as glamorous as Universal horror and the Universal monsters. It didn't have that glamour to it. But as I'm getting older, I'm starting to see the realistic side of it. And I do get what you mean by that. It does have a Hammer vibe to it.
Very tongue-in-cheek. Doesn't take itself. I know most cartoons now probably do take themselves too seriously, but at that time, I say I can't explain it. With Count Duckler, really I say the name and I'm smiling.
Yeah, exactly. This is how I felt last night and how I had to put it on my list, because you cannot not. It takes you back to, and it's not like the you know how last week we were talking about Stand By Me and how that took you back into your childhood and your little adventures you used to make for yourself. This was your home memories.
Yeah.
This was being in the house.
Sitting with your family, eating tea, watching cartoons, laughing. Yeah.
Yes. And I can when I picture it, I can picture my old living room. I can picture every bit of my old living room.
Yeah. I love stuff that does that. Like say, there's songs that can do that. There's films, there's TV shows, but something as simple as a cartoon which, as an adult, you don't really think about too much, but it can take you back within seconds. And probably, again, if you're listening, you're probably thinking the same thing. If you're from our age range, I dare anyone to say that they haven't watched Count Duckler and enjoyed it. If you do, if you didn't, stop listening to us. Don't like you.
Get out. I'm only joking. Please listen. Please like us. So it was just it made us smile. It was like a little warm feeling. I was like, I can't not put it on there because I'd be lying to myself that I do really love this or loved this cartoon. So that's my number 2 pick, Count Duckula.
Good pick.
There you go.
And just to give you a point as well, and my dad was telling us today that you won last week's for Trading Places, so I can't argue.
Boom! High five to your dad.
Right. So my next one, again, I wouldn't say it's a modern one. It was come out in 1997. There was 5 seasons of it.
All right.
With this one, it was during the whole MTV craze. So a lot of people were drawn to the more edgier cartoons, and this one was probably the opposite to the other one that was out at the time. I didn't mind the other one, which was Beavis and Butthead, but to me, I didn't relate to it. I couldn't get away with it. And this one of my best friends, she'll not listen to the podcast because she hates all pop culture anyway, but she reminds me of the main character of this so much, which was Daria.
Oh, Daria.
So I was probably going through the teenage years at this point as well. So 1997 was just, what few years after us leaving school or a college.
Whoa, calm your tits, mate. We didn't start school till 99.
Doing it? School?
No. I left comprehensive school in 99 and started college.
So you're younger than me. I left in 98. So so I was just going to 16 teenage years. I
forget you're a year older than us. I forget that. Yeah, I do forget that we didn't meet on my first year of college. We met on my second year, which would have been your right.
Yeah.
Got you.
See, old man here. That's fine. But growing up in Rye in Sunderland, if anyone knows the place, it's not very well known for people who are alternative or have the type of things I like. Like I say, as I said, I think I said in the podcast before, some of my friends wanted to go out on the weekend and steal cars. I wanted to go at the pitches, so that was the trade-off. I would play football with them or hang about with them, but when they'd start doing stuff like that, that was always my stopping point. I would always like revert to either watching TV or watching films. But this TV show like was quite related because Daria is quite moody. She's quite sarky, and it was probably ahead of its time because I don't think it's as well known as it wasn't well known at the time, but it was really, I think it got popular as it going. Like the artwork in it as well, it was quite quirky and almost a little bit realistic. Like say Daria and a friend Jane, them were the two goths, like not goths, alternative people in the group that used to just look down at people. Then you had the old Brittany Taylor, who was the bimbo cheerleader, who was just complete mental. And then like say a boyfriend, Kevin, who was the quintessential jock, who just had no brains and all he wanted to do was smile and play football. But the big thing that it did influences as well, the music in it. It introduced us into so many different bands, and I'll just like say because I got a list of a few of the bands that was on the show. Like Beck was on, Bloodhound Gang, Pop, trying to think of the name of it now. Blur. Like say I know Blur was big in the UK, but Blur, like Beetlebum, was one of the songs, and like one of my favorite bands as well that I got introduced to was Soundgarden through Daria. Like Chris Cornell and stuff like that. So that's why, and like say bands like the Beastie Boys, like say we weren't really hearing stuff like that. Like well, especially when I grew up, like I say, and then that led into my like passion for other music, like I say Pearl Jam, the Smashing Pumpkins, just because it was the same type of age and same type of like say feeling for this. But that's why I quite enjoyed this. Like I can't really recall too many like things about the episodes in it. If you went back and if you put a gun in my head and said explain an episode, I couldn't. I can explain the characters and how the characters like kind of interacted with each other and what I used to like about it. But the thing that stands out is the music, because at that time, growing up where I did, like my mum and dad, like old style, like Beatles, I'm trying to nearly said a name that probably shouldn't do, like Michael Jackson, like say artists like that. That's what was where I grew up with.
Nothing wrong with putting his name out there. One of the best, if not the best, live shows I've ever seen. I saw him in his prime. History Tour, Sheffield, 96. Absolutely unreal. Do not be ashamed of saying his name.
But like I said, then being introduced to that type of style of music was like eye-opening for me. Like say I know Beavis and Butthead done something similar with the music videos, but I never quite liked the humour in Beavis and Butthead. It was too juvenile and a bit...
it's that I'm not a fan of Daria because I didn't have my dad refused point blank to get Sky Television until you could record. So we would have been waiting a hell of a long time for it because that didn't come out until... But I don't want to say fortune has it, but Dad snapped his Achilles heel and was off work for a very long time, recovering from it. And I think it was like the first year we moved into the house where my parents are now. And he was bored and he just got Sky. He gave in. But up until that point, that was like the early 2000s, we didn't have Sky, so it wasn't accessible to us. But Beavis and Butthead were the cool thing to watch. So if I was at a friend's house, that's what we'd be watching, because then it would lead into music video. Like that's what they were. They were like the Elvira of horror movies, but leading into music videos. Like they're just their show was simply just introducing music videos. But they were cool.
Yeah, but I think like the whole elements of like the Beavis and Butthead, like I like the Daria characters more. I think I related more to them than Cortholio TP for my bumhole with Beavis and Butthead.
I think I would now. Like if I was to watch it now, I would totally relate to it. I think the Beavis and Butthead film is so funny. It's proper ridiculous humor. It's so funny.
I don't think it's a film I've ever finished as well, so I don't think
it's hilarious.
I don't think it's for me. But yes, again, it's one of them cartoons I can't really talk too much about, but I know I love it. I've even got a Funko Pop of Daria somewhere. But it's not in here. I think it's in one of the other rooms. But yeah, but every time I see her, and like, when I think it just reminds us of like, say, my good friend Carrie. She, like I say, if I put a picture up now, you would just think Daria. You'll probably hear it.
Oh, that's class. Oh, bless. No, that's class. Like, I get it. These lists are hard to talk about. Because it isn't something, like, apart from one that's on my list, I've not seen the rest for years.
Yeah.
Like, years. And I chose these ones purposely because of how I felt when I saw them when I was watching them lists last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. Daria's a good one. I never watched it. I'd obviously know of it.
Mm-hmm.
You think I would have watched it?
Yes.
But
like say, it's one that I've revisited it. Like say a few years ago, and it's one that does hold up. You know, we watch a lot of these things that we hold in higher regards from our childhood, and some of them are a bit of a letdown. But Daria still holds up. Yeah, some of the things and tones are a little bit behind the times, but again, it's still watchable. I would certainly recommend watching it now. I think it's on like this, it's on demand on Sky, so it is easy to pick up.
I might watch a couple episodes and see what it's like. At least to say in my lifetime I have watched Daria, but it was off the back of the grunge scene in America as well. So there would have been heavy, because like, what was the grunge scene? Was like 94 to end of the 90s or something.
Yeah.
Or did grunge die when Cobain died? Like,
we'll not go there because I'll probably start upsetting people. But yeah.
I think I might have upset people with my Michael Jackson comment.
That's
I'm very sorry if I have.
Another name as well, like the Gary Glitter one, but I was getting okay.
Yeah, like, I think when it comes to Michael Jackson, you can, as a performer, you can't just not fault him. But in his personal life, everyone's going to have like a completely different opinion from everyone else. And what I meant was, as a performer, you should be able to say his name. But him, Gary Glitter, no.
That's the thing. Like, see, that's another discussion for another day. What, like, just because a person's actions does that mean their artwork is then tainted, or you can't go back to it?
Yeah, we've been through this. We've been through this with Miramax and the Harvey Weinstein thing, and you know, should one person should one person's actions completely taint what you are watching? And me and Ant will always say, not at all. One person does not discredit the hard work that everybody else put into that.
Same with Buffy. I can see Josh Whedon at the moment as well. Like, say, I'm Buffy and thinking what might have went on behind the scenes, but again, we weren't there, so we won't ever know.
Exactly. You can only exactly. You can have an opinion on it, but does it take away from what you watched? For me, no, not at all, because there's more people than that one person turning that wheel.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That took a bit of a dark turn from Daria to.
No, Daria is a dark. It was quite.
Does that what she do? Does she bring the darkness out?
It's a bit like, say, doom and gloom, but there is a lot of adult themes in Daria. So yeah, I would always. I think I went the right way with that. I'm happy with it. Yes. So we went from the brightness to the
darkness.
To the darkness. So yes. So the first two. So
right, okay. So my next one is it ran from 1985 to 1992. It's actually, and I didn't know this until today, obviously, when I was doing my research, that it is Canadian.
Right.
But it was shown on a Saturday morning, I believe, Go Live or Go Kicking or Go something, what used to be on a Saturday morning.
Have Schofield and a Go for
Yeah. It was originally broadcast in Canada and America on CBS, and it's created by Kevin Gillis. You'll have no idea what it is, but this guy is the main character is my hero. My life was completely dictated around how his life went, and it's the raccoons. The raccoons. Bert Raccoon has a lot to answer for when it comes to my upbringing. There was a very long time in my life where this, if you know me personally, you know I have a very weird eating habits to start with. It was even worse as a child. It really was. My eating habits are for a discussion for another time because they are absolutely horrendous. For being 38-year-old, I still eat like a child. I'm not 38, I'm 37, sorry. But Bert was obsessed with peanut butter sandwiches.
Right, yes.
So guess what?
So you're
So
obsessed.
was I.
Yes.
So was I. My if you ask me what my last meal would be before I got executed, it would be a peanut butter sandwich because that was what I lived off because Bert lived off it. Like he was everything to us. And yeah, he has a lot to answer for. But yeah, it's the raccoons.
How many seasons did that run for? Because in my head, it didn't run for that long, but when you see
It
the
was
time,
1985 to 1992.
so,
It didn't actually give you a series, did it? Or did I not look at it? It's just a lot of fun.
yeah,
Like, and it was addictive, like really, for me anyway. Like I think it was the first thing like I proper ever like possibly outside of what my cousin was into,
yeah,
and obviously Ghostbusters was this was like the first thing I kind of nerded out over.
yeah.
Even though you couldn't, there was nothing, you just had visual to go off. I think I used to record the opening so I could listen because the
Oh,
opening used to make us cry. And
yeah, I used to like that. Just checked. I think there's 5 seasons of it, and there was
5.
60 episodes made.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a cartoon. And he's the mind blow of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rebooted.
Oh,
And it's coming out this year. And it's coming out this year.
Oh, that's one of the ones I can see. That's, as you said, the raccoons I used to love. Again, the things that stand out to me, that it had the most interesting bad guy, which was Cyril Sneer. And his son was...
Do you know Cedric?
Cedric, yeah. I used to like Cedric, but I used to...
Cedric was a nerd?
Yeah. I used to have trouble, because like when you watched as a kid, I didn't quite get what they were meant to be, because I didn't, like, when you look at them, they're the weirdest creatures when you think of them. But,
especially how pink he is, but because he is really pink. But he is, and I saw this earlier because I wasn't too sure myself, but oh my god, the pigs! I've just remembered about the pigs.
They were pigs. Yeah, because I looked it up when I got a little bit older, because I thought they were like anteaters or something like that, because with the...
He's an advocate. I can't say this. Aardvark. He's an aardvark.
Yeah.
He's a very pink aardvark.
But it was so bizarre. But like, because it was the raccoons. It was like nature versus corporation, though, wasn't it? That was the premise behind the show. The raccoons lived in the little tree houses and wanted things to. There's him. I loved the family. Because there was Bert. And what was the
Ralph and Melissa.
Yes.
Ralph and Melissa raccoon.
Mm-hmm. But
they had a large sheepdog.
Yeah. Oh, the dog! I forgot all about the dog. The dog.
Wow. Schaefer was the dog.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday morning. Like I had to get up every Saturday morning. Like I had to be awake for this to be on. When I learned how to use a VCR, I used to record every episode, and I was allowed one tape just to keep re-recording all. I absolutely loved it. This was a time when I was actually an only child as well, so I got away with a lot.
Kids these days are spoiled a little bit for choice, because they've got all these different like channels for cartoons. Like Nickelodeon has one channel now. Back in the day, we only used to have like afternoon after finishing school, we used to have a little tiny time slot on the BBC where you used to get cartoons, and then ITV used to do the arty shows like Art Attack and Zap and stuff like that.
I hate programs like that, and I hate Blue Peter. Cannot stand arty farty stuff because these hands don't do art.
I was always a little bit more creative, so I didn't mind it as well. But
yeah, you draw, don't you?
A little bit.
I don't.
Not as much as I used.
No, I'm not art. I used to hate art programs. Apart from it's probably another name we should mention. Because he used to show cartoons, but he used to do art as well. My God, these people have ruined it.
For no childhood. Can you see what it is yet? But yes, but Saturday mornings, as you said, used to get up, like probably our parents hated us for it. We used to get up as early as we
God, mine probably did.
because all the cartoons used to start as soon as basically, because believe it or not, kids, if you're listening now, some of the channels had times where they used to start. Channel 4 never used to start till 7 o'clock in the morning. It didn't used to go all the way through the night, so you had to wait till 7 o'clock started and BBC
for it to start. And if the BBC used to have that girl on it, didn't it?
Yeah,
with the chalkboard and
with the creepy clown.
Yeah, and then it used to come on. Wasn't it like 7 o'clock in the morning or something? That was it Go Live with Philip Schofield and Sarah Green?
There was Go Live. There was I know the
Live and Kicking.
Live and Kicking was one, and that was with Sarah Ghostwatch. What you call
Sarah Green.
Sarah Green. But yeah, like I say, we had the Chuckle Brothers that used to do it as well, and Simon and something used to do like weird stuff.
They're a bit older, them ones, aren't they though? And then you had there was so many of them I can't think. But Philip Schofield and Gordon the Gopher. And
Andy Peters as well. Andy Peters.
Yes, Andy Peters.
Yeah, going back. But no,
oh my God, and Timmy Mallet.
Oh, it's a itsy weeny teeny weeny. Mallets. But yeah, you used to like have all these cartoons that used to fit on through the day. And again, one of the cartoons I'm going to speak about I was introduced on one of their TV shows. But used to watch all this type of shite just to get to the cartoons. But now everything's so accessible through like on demand. Like say their own individual channels. Like you could probably type in a Google now, or even type in like Sky, watch Turtles. And you watch now. We couldn't do that. As you said, we had to wait. We had to either buy the videotapes or record them off TV. Sit there on the thing waiting for the press the record button, then jump back to try and watch it.
Yeah.
Not that we used to do it illegally. Sorry.
But yeah, the raccoons is like it's not one I can really talk a lot about because I can't remember majority of. I just always remember that Bert Raccoon was everything to us, and I don't want to say my eating habits are blamed on him, but the peanut butter side of it definitely is.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Like I say, it was a fun cartoon. I used to enjoy that. Like I say, it was always again very colourful, and like I say, always used to have as the cartoons during the 80s used to have a message in be good, be better with the planet and stuff like that, not pollute and stuff. I think that was always like the big things with the raccoon.
Yeah, because it wasn't it? It was corporation versus what's the word I want to look for? Because not tree huggers, but they were more environmentally friendly.
Yes, environmental activists, shall we say?
Yes. But yeah, that was my pick, the raccoons.
Cool. So I'll go with. So it's my number 3 now. So again, I'm going for quite a modern one. So, this is quite an adult cartoon as well. It was started in 2013.
Okay, it's not mine. Right, okay.
So, as you know with me, I am a huge Back to the Future fan. And basically this cartoon is pretty much a send-up of what would happen if Back to the Future, and the Doc was a dick. It's Rick and Morty.
Oh my God, right. Yeah, I'm just, okay. I didn't know where you were going. And then I was like, yeah, I'm there. I've tried with this one. Carolyn loves it. Carolyn's done a lot of work for Rick and Morty, and I just can't get into it. I'm sorry.
No, it's one of them things. I think Rick and Morty is quite Marmite because it pushes a lot of boundaries, but it's very self-aware as well. Like when they do like the episode where they just fill with loads of different clips of different things. They know they're doing it and they take the piss out of it as well. And they take themselves quite a lot. And the characters are really interesting. The guy like Rick Sanchez is just he is like if Doc Brown went crazy and decided he wanted to fuck the world up, and he could, because he's created all these good crazy inventions, and he hates being told what to do. He hates authority, so he just keeps on creating havoc. And you've got Morty's little sidekick, who's just this whiny little, not, I wouldn't say Marty McFly wannabe. Well, he wants to. He'll want to be because he's not as cool as Marty McFly, but and there's like a family dynamic to it as well, which is so dysfunctional. It's like he's got his daughter, which is trying to not live in like trying to move on from her dad, but she's growing into her dad. And got which I'm trying to think of his name now. It's Beth Smith, sorry. Which, like I said, always make jokes that she's a horse doctor because she couldn't become a real doctor and stuff. So it's like a low blows thing. And you've got Jerry, her husband, who is just the ultimate loser. But he's kind of looked in with his family and his wife, who like basically look after him, and he gets downtrodden to the point where you sometimes feel sorry for him. Sometimes you fucking hate Jerry, but he always makes you laugh. But like the whole dynamic between Rick Sanchez and his family, you don't ever know if he actually does care about them. Kill off characters and bring them back because there's an infinite, because it's basically all to do with time travel and going through portals as well. So on one world, basically they destroy the world so much that just go, okay, go to a world where Rick and Morty dies and basically takes over their lives, and it just lives from then. But it always does callbacks. Like I said, the continuity through this show is brilliant. Like if something happens, they'll call back to it later on, and they never kind of miss a beat. And they always do groundwork as well for future series. Like they've been hinting at now. Like there's a episode where it's like an evil Morty, and you don't know like where it's going. It just hints at him every so often, and every season, like say, even they'll go for a full season and not mention him, but like then the next season there'll be a little hint or they'll bring in an episode. It's so well done. And again, if you like pop culture and films, again, I said it's not for everyone because I do take it to the degree where it can be quite, not, I wouldn't say insulting, but where it's, I'm trying to think of the right word, where it's, the taste levels do vary to the point where you think, oh, that's a bit much, that's too far.
I don't have,
early South Park used to do type thing. Where,
see, I don't have any filter when it comes to programming. I don't watch something and think, oh, that's a bit distasteful, and I'm not going to watch it because of that. I will. I'm not explaining myself properly.
Just like say, you don't get easily offended by something.
Yeah, I'm not. That's it. I'm not easily offended. Just with Rick and Morty, it's at this point now it's a commitment. Because it's been going for a couple of seasons, so it's a commitment that I'm not willing to jump into quite yet, because I've just done a new commitment to a program I've put off for years. So I don't think I'm ready to. I've started The Sopranos basically.
Okay. You've got a few. It's one of them things. Some of the episodes are brilliant. Some of the episodes tell the story, but stick with The Sopranos. The journey's worth it. Trust us.
Yeah, my sister said the same thing. But when it comes to Rick and Morty, I tried with the first season, and I think they were only, I don't know where they're at now, but season 4 is where they were just starting. And I thought, well, it's only 3 series, and couldn't get past the first one.
But some of the seasons now, they're only doing short seasons. So it's not like a full where America goes batshit crazy and gives you 24 episodes. There's only like,
wow, they do a lot, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a UK thing where it's only giving you like 5 or 6 episodes or 8 at the max. So it's not a hard thing to jump in and out on. But again, I would always recommend it because it's fun, and like I say, the characters always bring in interesting characters. Like one of the Rick's oldest friends is like a bird person who then turns into Phoenix person due to what happens and stuff. But like even like they do a Justice League type of episode, which I can't remember the name, and Rick Sanchez, the day before they go to this big battle, is pissed off because he thinks he's better than the whole league, so he basically sets this trap for them where he's already took away all the problems and just making them know that they're useless and worthless. So it's dark at times, but also like there's a bit where it makes you laugh as well. But like there's bits in it where Morty takes home a sex robot, and they're making jokes about he's upstairs banging this sex robot for so long, but then the robot produces a baby, and it's like half Morty.
This sounds like it should be right up my street. Like that sounds like my kind of humor. I don't. The last time I fully committed, and it's not on my list, so I'm happy mentioning it. And I don't know why it's not on my list, because I do really like it. The last time I watched something with that kind of series was Bob's Burgers.
Right. Yeah.
And it's and I'm starting to think of things like I would have put Bob's Burgers on there, but I didn't, because the ones that I wanted to put on I thought were more important. And now that I'm looking back, it doesn't really. No, I should have put that on. Oh my god.
That's the thing. That's the problem we're having. But this is what I always find quite funny, because people always think, oh, top fives are so easy to do. Fuck.
No, they're not.
Because we've done on the Facebook group many a times, pick your top five, and people complain saying, can I not pick a top 10? Can I not?
No.
No, it's simple rules. You've got to pick them, but for us, it's easy picking the top five. We've then got to explain why.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the way I was describing it to me. Man here, she was like, well, why can't you just pick top fives? Like, it takes thinking, because like we like to talk. As you can probably tell during our podcast, we can talk, but it has to be about a subject matter that we actually give a shit about. Otherwise,
that we can hold. Yeah, if you can't hold a conversation with it, then what's the point?
Yeah, and it's not, and hopefully it does come across for the people that listen to that as well. But yes, so Rick and Morty in my top five, just because it's something I'm watching now, and it's something I would watch over and over, and I've never been bored of it yet. And there's touch wood, there's not been a bad episode.
Well, I will give it another try. Like I say, I never thought it was bad. It was just a commitment thing that I can start things and stop watching them in an instant and then go on to something else. I'm ridiculous. The only thing I can't do that with is books.
Yeah.
If I've committed to a book, I have to finish said book and then move on to a next one. But with TV series, I can stop and start them throughout. Like I can just stop that one and then go to another one, stop that one, and I'm ridiculous for it. My Netflix page is a mess because it's got loads of, continue watching. There's loads of them. I'm ridiculous for it. We'll move on to my next one.
Yes.
This is from 1985. And I laughed when I found out who did it, because I think it's pronounced DIC Entertainers, not Dick Entertainers.
That's going to the level of your humor. All right. We're not sophisticated now yet.
They started, and I didn't know this until today. I knew some of it, just not the first part. They started as a greeting card for a company called American Greetings. Right. And then in 1983, they became plush teddies. And then in 1985, it got its first cartoon series, to then at the end of 1985 get its first feature film.
Feature film?
It's the Care Bears.
Care Bear? Oh, shit.
Everyone
See, the Care Bears always makes us cry, though. The Care Bears always
Why?
I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to cry at that film. It used to make us cry.
Which one? The one with the book?
The one where, yes, the book was scary.
It's terrifying, that.
Yeah. When
is that why it made me cry?
I watched it. My dad used to put it on, and I'm not sure to say it. Yeah, it made us cry.
Oh, well, I was annoying Ants last night with the song. It was I'd be like, fun shine and make the sun shine and have a heart like Camelot. I'd be like, wish bear and always be there. I'd be the luckiest bears in Carolot. There you go.
I've never watched the TV show, but I watched that film. Like I say, when it starts out, the young magician
kid, bratty little bastard of a kid who goes a bit too far, and then the book comes alive, and brilliant. So good. but they were, this is still ongoing today. There is no time end on Care Bears because they have comic books, they have figures, they have cartoons. Even now they have they even had a video game at some point. You know, this is just an ongoing franchise that started in '85 because of a greeting card that blew my mind.
Crazy. Well,
I knew the teddy bear bit.
There'll probably be like conventions just for people to dress up like Care Bears, like they do.
Well, there is for My Little Pony.
What's it called, BronyCon or something?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Have you ever watched a Brony do a review on a My Little Pony comic? It is hilarious. It is so funny. I think they forget who these are aimed at because they take it so seriously.
I remember.
I don't think Care Bears have that.
I think Comic Book Men, when they done their Brony convention, that was hilarious. And when they got dressed up and how serious the people were taking, even though they were taking the piss. Yeah, people like what they like. Who am I to judge? But
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No. I just find it funny when they're ripping the piece of comic book that is created for little children.
Yeah.
But Care Bears was special because I started my love of Care Bears because I got a Care-a-Lot teddy bear, which was part of the Ellaroo incident of, I want to say, '86, where it got burned in a fire because my mum decided to dry it. It was the Ellaroo incident. Right. Ellaroo and Care-a-Lot were on the same thingy and they both got scorched, but Care-a-Lot was with us for quite a few years and then all of a sudden just disappeared. And I think on my 28th birthday, I thought this one.
I'm trying to think as well because there was a lot of different ones. There was the Lucky Bear. I remember that was the green one with the pot of gold, wasn't it? Or the leaf, the 4-leaf clover.
4-leaf clover. I had figures as well. I had Care Bear hard plastic figures. They were about say big.
I think they were well made. Them ones as well. From I remember as well, they were quite well made because they weren't cheap. Them ones, I think.
No, they weren't, and I had quite a few, and because they all had like a wisp of hair.
Yes.
But everything else was like solid plastic.
Because not to go off the TV show, but going back to the film, because that was when they introduced not just the Care Bears, but the other animals to them. Whether
it was the cousins.
Yeah, the cousins, the lion.
Lionheart.
Lionheart, shit.
Lionheart. Because the cousins were in the Forest of Feelings. They
would like say they were giving us psychologists when we were kids and stuff. This is how you deal with your feelings with this bear.
Yeah, kids, the Care Bears are going to teach you a lot.
Yeah.
But Rainy Cloud was it? What was the rain?
Yeah, the Rainy Cloud.
Was it Rainy Cloud one?
It was kind of like
he always had he always had a rain cloud over his head. I don't know if I'm getting that name right, but I really love the Care Bears. I love annoying my husband with the song of it. It was magical. Like that's the best way to describe them. They were magical.
And for a cartoon as well, the artwork was done really well. Not many cartoons you can see are drawn well, but I'll give Care Bears a due. Like I said, the artwork was fantastic on a lot of the things that I saw with that.
I don't like how they look nowadays, but I don't like how cartoons have translated over to nowadays. I was at the cinema the other day, and a trailer for the dog Tanyan. Remember Dog Tanyan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They brought out a new Dog Tanyan Musketeers film, and the animation of it was so weird. Like it. Yeah. I was like, that's just not how I remember stuff. And I know they cater into children nowadays and not 37-year-old women, but still, it just didn't look right.
I think they're doing it well a lot these days because I think someone posted that they brought a Rugrats remake, but they've done it in like 3D, like CGI.
He was called Grumpy Bear, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
That's fine, but a lot of the things I know. I don't want to say people have run out of ideas now, but I think a lot of the ideas when we were younger were absolutely amazing. So I can understand trying to recreate that, but sometimes it just leave things alone.
Yes. don't touch the Care Bears because they're absolutely perfect. I actually have a list of their names here, by the way. You got Tender Heart, who was the brown one with the red heart in the middle.
Oh, so was that the leader, was it, or was that the one that you skipped?
Yeah, he was. I think he was the leader. Then you've got Chia Bear, who was the one who had the rainbow in the stomach, and then Wish Bear, who was pale green, with a yellow with a star shooting across. Then you got Grumpy Bear, Champ Bear, Harmony Bear, Birthday Bear. Now, Birthday Bear I had as a figure. Actually, I had the majority of them as a figure, but I always remember Birthday Bear because it was bright yellow. I think it was because I didn't have Funshine Bear. That was right, and Funshine's, them two are the only ones that are yellow, and it probably stood out. I'm gonna sneeze. Bless me. And then you got Love a Lot, who I had. Good Luck Bear, Friend Bear, Daydream Bear, Grams Bear.
Grams Bear.
Grams Bear. Can't remember that one.
That sounds like something that you'll get in the street. So, but they will not go there.
It's got it's got an herb on its belly.
Oh dear.
That's what it looks like. And Bedtime Bear and Secret Bear, but the cousins were introduced in the film.
Yeah.
But not in the TV show until like later on. But even like going on Google now and just typing in Care Bears, the amount of stuff that you can buy is unreal. Like it's still going today.
Yeah, they brought out a Funko range last year where you could get like all the Care Bears in Funko Pops.
I would only want Care-a-Lot. I would only want the one that I had as a plushy toy because Care-a-Lot came everywhere with us.
Well, you never know, you might get one for Christmas, bless you.
So that is my pick, Care Bears. It was special. It was magical. It was uplifting. There was nothing sad about it. And if there ever was, the Care Bears sorted it out. They always sorted it out. The film is
Care Bears Stare.
Care Bears Stare. The film is fantastic. Even today, I would recommend going and watching it because it will bring back don't you shake your head. So many memories. It is a bit it was at the time a bit scary, but that book, like even as like a child, I've said this quite a few times on this podcast, I do gravitate towards the darker side of life.
True.
And that book mesmerized me. Like I wanted to be that book. I didn't care if I was a head in a book.
Yeah, there's a few things that disturbed us a little as a child. Like the Care Bears film scared us. Watership Down I still can't watch to this day because even one of the first ones I saw at the cinemas, what was it called? The Land Before Time disturbed us as a kid as well.
We actually have a copy of Land Before Time and a DVD that's still in its cellophane wrapper because I can't bring myself to do that to myself again. I am a very sensitive person. Like I'm far too sensitive for my own good. I can't watch programs that have got animals in. So poor Ant can't watch anything like, you know, when David Attenborough brings out a new series, everyone's talking about it. I can't watch it because I can't physically watch them. I will be depressed for days upon days afterwards because of the effect it has on us. I can't do films that have animals in them.
So we're not going to do a top 5 favourite animal films.
No, because I won't have one. I will not have one. I cannot watch them. Like All Dogs Go to Heaven really messed me up, and
I love that.
really messed me up. Had to be physically removed from the cinema because I was sobbing so much. I can't do anything to do with animals. I am far too sensitive and cannot do. So do I have any that had animals in apart from the raccoons? The raccoons were very different because I'm trying to make a good excuse.
They were more like people rather than animals, I think.
Exactly. But I just can't do animals. I'm too sensitive. Cool. Land Before Time and All Dogs Go to Heaven just messed me up.
Cool. Are you happy for me to go to my next pick now?
I am very happy to finish off my Care Bear one. You go.
Good choice, though. You're doing well with that one. I wasn't expecting that one. So, just going to move on to this one because pretty much you mentioned it. Bob's Burgers.
Oh my God, did I? Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Oh, well, at least I get a chance to about it. I love Bob's Burgers.
This is, to me, I know there's a lot of cartoons out there. This is probably the most relatable cartoon I think I've seen in a long time, because that family is amazing. Every single one of the characters, like there's not an annoying thing about them. Like, even though they probably do irritate each other, but each one of them has personality traits that you can see in other people as well. Like I say, I love Bob, even though, like I say, because it was very close between this and Archer. I love Archer, but I think Archer's went downhill a lot lately.
Never watched that one.
But Bob's Burgers is just getting better and better. And like I say, Linda, I absolutely love.
I love Linda.
Hilarious. Like I say, I see many people, like I say, I hang about with. Like Linda, when she gets excited and just gets sidetracked by shiny objects. Anything, and like the kids are absolutely
Louise is my favourite because she's just the do not give a shit attitude. Like, I love her. But Tina, just on a weirdness level, like, I get it.
And Jean is just, I would say, a ball of fun, a ball of energy. And like, when you watch him, like, I dare anyone not to find something that you laugh at, or you find something that you do relate to as well in it.
I think Jean works because Louise is there.
Yeah.
Like, him and Louise just completely bounce off each other. And there's not a lot of scenes when them two are not in it together.
Mm-hmm.
And them two work so well. I love the dynamic between the two of them.
Yep.
I love Linda's sister. Like,
yes.
She is amazing.
Crazy Catwoman that is a complete life mess for anything.
Love her.
Yes. But even, like, say, the Maud and Teddy, who, like, say, Bob's things, that's so funny. Like, Teddy is just starved of attention and wanting, like, to be Bob's best friend, or even sometimes more than best friend at times. But what I love about it as well, not many shows or cartoons do this. They do an annual Halloween episode.
Yes, they do.
And it's
brilliant.
I used to love cartoons that did that as a kid, or when, like, say, when you used to go to get home from on Halloween, and all the networks used to do Halloween programs and Halloween shows. Not many places do it these days. Like, I know, like, Roseanne was a big one back in the day.
I was just about to say, Roseanne always did a Halloween episode, and they were fantastic. You could go into Roseanne's archive and just pick out the Halloween ones and watch them, because they're so good. But The Simpsons are exactly the same. I don't know if I'm going to ruin that one for you and all, but The Simpsons do a really good Halloween episode. Bob's Burgers do brilliant.
Simpsons not on my list, just simply
not on mine either.
Of how poor it's got now. I think that's a show that should have ended 10 years ago, but again,
I'm not as, like, I actually, when they were on Disney Plus, I sat and watched them from the beginning, and it did feel like a nostalgia feel, because I remember when it first came out. Like, I remember it was huge at the time. And the promotional work around it was massive, especially over here, because it was the first big US cartoon that was being imported over to us.
Mm-hmm.
It was I love the beginning part of it, but Bob's Burgers, we're on season 10 now. Like,
I'm watching it now on Dodgy Stream, because it's out in America at the moment, like the new season.
What, season 11?
I believe so, yes.
Well, I have to watch that.
Yes, so I'm near the end of season 11 now. But again, it's just hilarious. Like, some of the things that they do get into it, but it's not to the extreme. But they take, again, with us being film buffs, they take film episodes and stuff and do it very, very well. Like, Smiley, like, the whole episode I love. One of my favorites is when the kids decide they're going to win the go-karts at the arcade, and they need to rig the machines, and it's almost like a Ocean's 11-esque episode where they all got their own roles to play, but then it's a twist at the end where they don't win the go-kart, they win the woolly mammoth, which is just hilariously well done. There's an episode where Bob gets obsessed with a computer game because the arsehole Jimmy Pesto writes Bob sucks on this arcade game.
His hands get all messed up, don't they?
He gets like a claw, and he gets all hyped up on his pain meds and stuff. which is just hilarious. And Bob he's just such a nice guy who is trying his best but doesn't get the breaks which he probably deserves. And everything in it just, I don't know, it's got a homely feel to it. It's so relatable on so many levels.
I want to go to their burger place. Even though I know fine well he would not cater for me, because I know Bob wouldn't do a vegan option. That's just not in him. But I want to go to the diner. I want to meet Linda. Like, Linda is just, the noises that comes out of her is ridiculous, and to know that they're all done by a man as well is crazy. It blows my mind that that's a dude doing that voice. It is so well done. It's the murder mystery night she does. Oh, it absolutely gets us when she's literally making
we get robbed. I think it's but
and when she thinks she's a psychic and she just keeps going.
I think the overall thing I love about it, which is again going to sound really cheesy and really girly here, but there's so much love in that family.
Yeah,
and
it's ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't work.
Yeah,
they shouldn't work well together. They're always like connivingly trying to get one over on each other, but it's to a point where they know it's not really that harmful. They can pull back from it.
Yeah,
love it.
I can. It's one of them. Again, there's a few shows like I can watch, just pick up an episode. It doesn't have to even be in order. I can just pick it up. I do it every so often on with being on Disney Plus now. I just like say put it on and just go put Bob's Burgers on. But like say, even just thinking about random episodes now, it just makes us laugh. Like the bit where they go to Teddy's Halloween party and Bob doesn't want to get dressed up, and he kills the hamster.
The hamster. I love that episode.
Yeah. So it's just ridiculous though. But yeah, Bob's Burgers, it always will be. Even if I picked like a TV show, when I was picking through like my favourite TV shows, it was close to being picked, but like, the thing is, it's still ongoing, so that's why I didn't pick it from my favourite TV shows back then. But like even when like I think say Gene, one of the most ridiculous episodes when he finds the talking toilet and he has this relationship with his talking toilet, which is heartbreaking but beautiful at the same time.
I love that episode. That was like closer to the end, wasn't it? Because I work from home, and I have my Kindle on in the background because literally I am in this room on my own. So I put it on in the background, like away from my computers, just so I can hear it. And I've gone through Bob's Burgers at least a couple of times. I don't even have to watch it, just to hear their voices.
Yeah,
it's a comfort enough just hearing their voices. It is absolutely fantastic. I am devastated I did not put it on the list, and now I wish I swapped it out for my last one I'm going to talk about, because it like I remember seeing images of Tina online, and it was a like a gif of the, you know how she loves butts. And I was like, I need to know where this comes from. So I literally went on, found our image, found the series, watched the first series, and I was just hooked from then on. Like, absolutely hooked. That's how I found it, was a picture of Tina with butts on it.
I think I came to Bob's Burgers when it was later in the series. Like I think I was about season 5 when it was out before I started watching it. Just because when you initially look at the artwork, it's not the greatest type of.
It's so basic, isn't it?
And you think of it, it's going to be one of, because there's a lot of cartoons that's around now that you try and watch and you think it's style over substance, and I was thinking it was going to be that, but there's so much substance in this. You can watch an episode and take it a different way. Like there's hilarities, there's happy episodes, there's sad episodes, but I think what I love about it as well, each character gets the moments to shine. No one overshadows each other. Like even though, like I said, Tina's quite shy and not.
But is she?
But she's definitely an introvert. She's definitely an introvert.
Definitely.
Trying to get out, but like I say, even bits where she like becomes a witch. Sometimes that gives her a little bit of confidence, and like I say, that element.
There's a couple of episodes from Tina's that are absolutely brilliant. A book, where a story starts coming to life.
Yeah.
Because she's and one of them was a zombie
Yes.
one. And also going back to our conversations on bronies, they did a bronies episode
Yes.
with Tina's fascination with horses,
Yeah.
and they have, and it's so, and that just shows the seriousness of bronies. It was just really good. I tell you what got me though, when Hot American Summer came out, the TV series, my sister says watch the film first, then watch the TV series. Watching the film, I really wasn't paying that much attention to it. I'm a very much a person who can sit on my phone and watch a film at the same time. And all of a sudden, I just heard this familiar voice. Looked up, couldn't recognize a person at all, and then they started speaking again, and it was Bob.
Right.
It was the voice actor of Bob, being Bob, on my TV. It was so good. I had to pay attention then.
Going back to as well what I said about Archer being close, because it's the same voice actor who does Bob who does Archer.
Right.
Because it's basically like a piss take out James Bond, but goes through all different type of aspects. But they actually take the piss that about Bob's Burgers and the voices, because they do a bit where he goes undercover and he dresses up like Bob and has like say the whole Linda and does as a burger chef and stuff. So it kind of breaks the fourth wall in itself as well. But yeah, going back to what you said as well about your favorite character, which is Louise, who is the standout star of the show. She is like absolutely that she's the heartbeat of the show. Like there's elements where Louise, she's just been a bratty kid, but she's got such a heart to her. Because like I think there's an episode where, again, I might be wrong, like the exact premise where her and her dad Bob fall out, and she kind of like causes loads of trouble and tries to make it up, and at the end she's like, does this mean you need us? And she goes, yeah. And it's kind of like her showing, because she never likes to show weakness. And
it's the episode where, because her and her dad have a very special bond, and on a nighttime they'll sit and watch television, a television show together, and then but it was just them two, and then Jean got involved, and then Tina got involved, and then she just loses her temper with the whole thing, because she's a creature of comfort and she likes her routines. Yeah. She doesn't mind spending time with her brother and sister. She's not one of these who doesn't not want to spend time with them, but there's a certain part of her that still wants to be a daddy's little girl.
Yeah. And then she doesn't like that element. She doesn't like to admit that she's soft. But yeah. Yeah,
she doesn't. And when she gets her teeth, the whole episode, her teeth episode is brilliant. Yeah. She doesn't want to, she's terrified of the dentist. She ends up running away to her aunt's house.
Before you go, did you ever want to play Gale Force Winds?
Yes. Yes. What a way to get at it. Wasn't it to distract her?
Yeah, it was to basically make her that bored and that hate at the time that she would want to leave. So yeah.
Yeah. And then they have to do the whole operation at the end, where it's like Operation Louise, get her teeth taken out and make it into like a military thing. It's just so good. And the voice actress is Kirsten Shaw. That is her voice. She's not putting it on. That is exactly how Kirsten Shaw sounds. I absolutely love her. I think she's a fantastic actress. I'm trying to think what she's been in recently visually, and I can't think off the top of my head, but Bob's Burgers, good choice, man. Jealous, gutted. Can't believe I didn't pick it.
No, but yes. So like I say, with these choices, I could have went back to like all the cartoons, but again, I don't think I would have talked about them with as much love, because it would have been like, well, like me, it would have been nostalgia, but I wouldn't been able to go, this happened here, and this is why I love it. Yeah. But like I say, Bob's Burgers is something that is quite near and dear to us.
Yeah, I think I've been so torn on this list of what to do for the best, because I said to Ant, I've got to be honest. Like I've got family who listen, and I have to be honest with what I'm saying. And if I say Care Bears, my sister's going to go, of course. Yeah. Care Bears, like, yes, I was obsessed with it.
Cool.
So I'm kind of gutted that I wish I took it. I really do wish I took it a little bit more seriously. Like probably like.
We can't do that every week, otherwise, like say, because we've got jobs and stuff like that. I know it's fun, but if we take it too seriously, it might just take a little bit of the fun out of it. So
exactly, that's very true. That is true. Right, we'll move on to my next one.
Cool.
It is from 1983, and it's still ongoing today. It's still an ongoing thing, but it only had 2 series.
Right. Okay.
But it's very ongoing today. Actually, as of the next few months, something new's coming out with it. If I say Film Nation, would that mean anything to you?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, he is the master of the universe.
Oh shit!
He is He-Man.
Right.
He is and was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to us as a kid. Like, I got into He-Man probably off the back of my older cousin, who, like I say, like hijacked his childhood.
Yeah.
He had Castle Grayskull. He had all the figures, like Battle Cat, and then and then a cartoon came out of that, of what I was playing with. A cartoon then came out of that, and it just blew us away. And then it introduces to She-Ra. Now, she was going to be on the list. I waited out because She-Ra was huge, and I did build a massive toy collection off the back of that. But He-Man came first.
Yeah.
And when I said I can picture my old living room in my house that I grew up in, we used to have the television in the corner, and then we didn't have shelving, we just had VHSs lined up on the side of the wall where the television was. And the last 2 VHSs, no, the last 4 was Now TV, Now Something Music one, probably 1981 or something, which was just a load of music videos on a tape. Liverpool AFC, because my dad's a Liverpool supporter, or was a Liverpool supporter, and it was a Liverpool AFC videotape. Don't know. He-Man and Care Bears. They were, everything else was just a recorded VHS, but they were the 4 main, like, proper bought videos, and He-Man was one of them. I was absolutely obsessed.
It's crazy.
Looking back
as well, there's only 2 of the original, because I know there's been other seasons of it as well. But it makes kind of sense as well, because when they were making the show, like I say, as you go back to watching the show that we're talking about, Toys That Made Us, they only made the cartoon to sell the figures.
Yeah, this is what me and Andrew were talking about last night. If you go on YouTube and put in top 80s TV series intros and watch them, you will realize all you're doing is watching a program to buy toys. It was literally advertisement for toys, because everyone we went through were like, oh yeah, we had a figure for that, do you know what I mean? They were literally selling you toys because they were cartoons.
No, like I say, talking about He-Man, because there was 3 cartoons that I was obsessed with when I was a kid. There was He-Man, Thundercats, and Turtles. Well, Turtles was the main one for me that I got blew away with. He-Man I loved, but I never revisited it after. Like I say,
Ant doesn't like He-Man at all. Doesn't get it. Doesn't get it at all. And I said to him, it's so hard to describe, but it was what's he called? Battle Cat.
And Cringer.
Cringer. He was such a weepy little thing, and then all of a sudden he gets a new identity and just becomes this like powerhouse. And and then Skeletor, like the best and funniest bad guy. Like, I didn't get it then, but watching back now, some of the stuff he used to say is absolutely comedy gold.
And I say, what was it, Prince Adam, when he go to the sorceress and got the magic sword and say, I have the power.
By the power of Grayskull. My God. Then he said, I have the power.
If you look at the artwork and stuff like that, it was very homoerotic as well.
Oh my God.
It was muscles on muscles on muscles. I thought Top Gun was bad, but Jesus, He-Man.
There is a video, a 10-hour YouTube video of Four Non-Blondes with the He-Man background, and it's just so sexualized, it's unreal. Like, it's 10 hours as well, by the way. On loop, just keep going round and round and round. But it was again, it's the same as the Turtles. Like, this just blew right the way up to where this had its own stage show.
Yeah.
Where Adam and Aurora were husband and wife. Ew. And it was like a rock show.
Right.
Honestly, I will send you the link for Laura's video. She did a whole one of these like cartoon / figure things that like went into stage shows, and the amount of money that was getting made off it. But He-Man is still a franchise that is.
Yeah, because Kevin Smith's.
Kevin Smith is literally just about to bring out his version of Masters of the Universe for animation.
Yeah, and if you look at the voice cast that he's got involved with that, wow, that would make any TV show be out of this world. Yeah. The fact they're doing it with He-Man as well. Anyone who doesn't know, like I say, have a look up at some of the people that's involved in that show. It does make you interested again, but I know like what they call the Moto universe. It is huge, like I say, going back from, and they very are protective of the source material as well. But what I liked about He-Man, which I can remember to this day, and it still always me, after an episode, there used to be always like a 2-minute clip where they used to give you a little warning or a little life lesson.
Yes, it was like a safety tip. It was like health and safety for He-Man. Yeah. Yes, because he would be coming out. I always remember his walk.
Yeah.
He would just like walk up to the...
It was either He-Man or Prince Adam that used to give you like the little thing. But talking about home, like the look of He-Man, but I know I'm going to sound really creepy and weird here. Some of the female drones in the He-Man were very sexy. Like, see, I remember some of my first crushes like Evil Lynn and
Evil Lynn.
Even the Sorceress were very, shall we say, voluptuous.
Yes, they all were. Even their figures, like when you go and have I had all of their figures, and they very much, they had a bit of curve to them, but they were very much like just tiny little curve, and then these boobs.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have boob envy in my late 20s, then I would certainly have had it when I was a kid, because bloody hell, my She-Ras had something packing for them.
It's amazing some of the stuff they used to get away with back there, but that must have been done on purpose to try and sell things or sell the show.
Oh my god, yes.
Because I remember when the figures came out as well, they used to have a little mini comic. And that's how it, I think it started, but then they brought out the cartoon afterwards to try and then, it was like a 20-minute advert for the figures type thing. And they used to bring out really weird ones like Beast Man, Spin Top or something, where the blue guy with like, used to, I remember having him. I had him. Yeah, but I remember like that and Thundercats had the same type of vibe and feel to it.
Well, this is why I didn't pick Thundercats, because for all I like Thundercats, I can't sit and hold a conversation with Thundercats.
No,
I can't. I remember what's the blue one called? See, I can't remember their names.
So there was Lino, Cheetah,
Lino, was that the blue one?
Panthera.
Panthera was the blue one?
Yes, he was like yes.
Right. I had him as a action figure, quite big one. Can remember how he moved because he had a little lever on his back and his arms used to go like that. Like that, yep, up and down.
Look, if this is not Spotify, we are moving our arms up and down.
Literally moving our arms up and down. But I can't hold a conversation when it comes to Thundercats, even though we own them.
Yes.
I have them on DVD. But I will not sit and watch them now. And I said to Ant last night, how comes everything's been turned into a film? Even He-Man was turned into a live-action film. Why have they never tried it with Thundercats?
I think there's rumours that they're going to start it again with, because I know that it was flying about saying Jason Momoa has been primed to play a Lion-O.
Right.
Which I can see, because I think it's the director who done Godzilla vs. Kong. He said his next project wants to be like a live-action Thundercats film. But to be honest, I don't think they could have done it back in the day.
That is exactly the answer that Ant gave. We couldn't have done it.
Yeah, because even with the He-Man movie, the elements of the actual He-Man cartoon and everything you loved was completely gone. It was completely a different take on He-Man, and it didn't work at all. Even though Dolph Lundgren looked the part as
Looked
He-Man.
the part.
And
Really
even the
looked
guy
the
who played
part.
Skeletor was a good thing, but they didn't
That
do the
was
whole transform from He-Man to Prince Adam that took that aspect
no,
out.
no, he didn't. Did he? Well, who was it who played Skeletor? It was
Oh, it was
Martin
Frank
Landau,
something.
wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was someone called Frank.
Hang on, He-Man movie. It was not 2021. It was oh, that was it, Frank Langella.
And that's one. I knew his first name was Frank, but he chewed the fucking
God.
scenery like you wouldn't believe. Like,
Frank Langella is a very he's an amazing actor. If you ever watch Frost Nixon, he played Nixon. So good. Who was it who was I always thought Frank Langella played Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood.
yeah.
I did not.
And we're forgetting one of our favorite friends was in there as well, Courtney Cox.
Yes, Courtney Cox was in it too. But He-Man is such a, for all it's been going since 1983, you would think there's a reason that why it's been going so long is because it is well loved. It isn't the most perfect franchise out there. If you watch Toys That Made Us, it's had some proper downfalls. Like the movie aside, the line of figures that it's brought out is just been very hit and miss.
I think what it had, like, not a huge fan base, but a small, passionate one, and that's sometimes all you need, like, say, to keep these type thing going. Look at Rocky Horror down the years. There was probably years when Rocky Horror Picture Show was not viewed to the massive level it is now. But like I say, it's like a small cult following to keep things, keep things alive, if that makes sense.
No, you're right. It has to have been doing something. I really do recommend watching Toys That Made Us for not just the He-Man and the Turtle episodes. I mean, they are fantastic, but they also have the history of Star Wars on there, and Barbie. The Barbie one is like, I'm not a Barbie person. I haven't owned a Barbie. Like, it's just if Barbies were in our house, it would be because of Michaela. Like, I never had Barbies.
Interesting to hear the shit that goes on about toys, though, the backstabbing and stuff.
Wow, especially the Barbie episode as well. Like, my God, there is some very selfish and greedy people, and when money gets involved, you see true colours.
True that.
And it's such a good series. It's 3 seasons out, and it's really interesting. Like, not even if you're not even a toy fan, it's still like really interesting.
Also, again, they've done another spin-off series, like the films they made us as well. That was well done as well.
Yeah, that was good.
Again,
that was.
There was I think of the films because they've done one last year came out was the Christmas movies. And,
yes, they did the Christmas films. I think I watched. I didn't watch them all. I watched the Ghostbusters one, obviously.
Oh, Ghostbusters was really good, but the Nightmare Before
the Dirty Dancing one.
The Nightmare Before Christmas one is such an eye opener. Anyone who likes Tim Burton, watch that film, watch that show. It might change your mind on how you feel about Tim Burton. That's all I'm saying.
I have such a mixed opinion on Tim Burton. Like, did anyone? I'm asking.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. Did anyone? I'm actually interested if anyone has watched The Death of Superman Lives.
Yes.
It was a documentary brought out by John Schnepp. Rest in peace, Schnepp. King of the Shreddies, poor, such a loss. We lost him a couple of years ago, so sad. But he brought this amazing documentary out called The Death of Superman Lives, and that's where my opinion changed on Tim Burton, right there in that documentary. And the fact that Kevin Smith was just royally, like, he was heavily involved in that and then royally pushed out. But just the writing side of it, not direction or anything.
Oh, no.
The writing side.
Say if you watch his show as well, I think it was An Evening with Kevin Smith when he tells the whole Superman Lives story. But I know he tells it again in that documentary. But it's hilarious. And I know for years he used to sign that script he wrote, fuck Tim Burton. So
and then for somewhat because he was riding high off the back of his Batman. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just not interested. He's very hit and miss with me.
Yeah.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I have a lot of fond memories of it. It's been huge within my family. Like, our dogs were named after Jack and Sally.
I think we'll leave that one there because I think that one's going to come up in a lot of conversations when we do in the future.
Okay.
So, we'll not go into that one because, again, I've got so much love for that film, and like I say, I've got an obsession with, well,
That's
Shall we
good.
say?
Oh, look at.
Yeah, so
Well, right. We'll stop. We'll
yeah.
stop. Stop talking. Okay.
So, yes.
Where
So,
were we? He-Man.
He-Man, so yes. So any more to
It's
add
all
to the Masters of
It's
the
all
Universe?
right. It's all right. No, not really. Like, it's not something I just, when thinking of see, I look at this list of more cartoons of growing up as opposed to right now.
Yeah.
And when I think of cartoons of growing up, He-Man's huge. Like, it was massive for us. It brought us into not just He-Man but She-Ra.
Yeah.
The film, if anyone, I love the film. It's actually available on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
Bit weird because it's very much out of date.
And it's not He-Man, really.
No, but it was just special, and I thought it was worth the mention. So there we go.
But it's a good point you've made there. Like, see, you've went from different aspects to what I've done, which is a quite thing. Because as we've done with certain things we've picked, we've been quite specific. But this one was quite of a broader search, and I think we've got better material out of it than we would have if we.
I'm good. I'm good with myself though.
Yeah, we probably would have had similar picks if we did narrow it down a little bit. So
yeah, if it was like childhood cartoons, there'd have been a lot of probably a lot in there, but and that's why I think it was my suggestion last week where I said, can we make it a bit more broader? And have you noticed all of mine are from 1985? Like I haven't even, because I wanted to use the likes of Bob's Burgers and potentially Family Guy, because I love Family Guy, but then I was like, I've got to really I think I really need to go back to childhood to make it more interesting and get us thinking a bit. So
I think
screwed myself,
my picks,
basically.
I've tried to do more quality over quantity, because I know Family Guy, again, this whole thing, but to me, that did go down in quality through the years. But again, that's probably down to my opinion than anything else. But rather than dwelling, do you want me to go to my next pick?
You go to your next one.
So this cartoon, when I watched it the first time as a kid, changed the way I viewed cartoons, which probably changed the way I viewed cartoons for the rest of my life, being honest with you. I wanted a superhero cartoon because like I say, that sort of thing. There was a few I could have picked from. I
know which one you picked.
I could have picked The Amazing Spider-Man, which I didn't, which I did love. No. I could have picked the X-Men cartoon, which again I loved, but I didn't.
Yep.
Because that had one of the best theme tunes, and see if the first the first season, that was absolutely brilliant. But to me,
I know where you're going.
This one is special, and it made us look at cartoons like in an adult way as well, which I never thought I would do. It was
you've got to say it. No, say it. Damn it! I thought you were going to say, "I am vengeance. I am the night.
I am the night." No, but even the opening credits of this is not like a cartoon like you would have seen. It was very dark, so moody, and so I can't even explain how it made us feel back then, because I was watching something that I shouldn't be watching if that was in at that age, because it was like, oh, this is a bit adult, this is thing. And it was the first cartoon I saw that there was a swear word in, because I'm sure in one of the episodes, one of the criminals tells Batman to piss off. And I was like, what? This is a cartoon I'm watching. It was on, like, see what we're talking about now, Saturday Night Live, I believe. Used to wait all the time for this one to come on every week. It was the first to introduce a certain Harley Quinn to the Batman universe as well, because she didn't actually debut in the comics. She was actually made for the animated series as well. Had a brilliant voice cast, which to me will never be beaten on any TV show going. Like Kevin Conroy as Batman, you could close your eyes and he could talk, and it would take you to Batman.
He deserves to be in the list of who is your favorite Batman, because he is the epitome of, he's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Sorry, keep going. I'm trying to find
Mark
something.
Hamill as the Joker. Now, I know, like I say, I love Mark Hamill. Like I say, Mark Hamill can do anything wrong. He could punch me in the face and I would say, "Thank you, can I have another?" He, as that Joker, he was amazing. And when they reprised the roles later on, like say for the TV movies that they did, like the animated films, and even the Batman the Arkham Knight games, it brought that level of nostalgia that you needed. And again, like I said, to me, like Batman always has a place in my heart. Like I say, that is my favorite superhero. I always go to Batman, even though I hate Tim Burton's Batman, which again I've wrote about and had discussions about. But going back to the Adam West Batman, that's me sitting with my grandfather and my dad watching that on a Sunday. But that one, when I watched it for the first time, because I can still remember the credits and thinking, what's this? Because you see the two spotlights.
Yeah.
You see like the building, the robbers breaking in, the explosions. But yeah, and it introduced us to such a backlog of characters. It didn't just sit on the big ones as well. Like, of course, you had the Batwomans, you had the Poison Ivies, you had the Joker, Two-Face, but you also had Killer Croc, Mad Hatter, the ventriloquist twist, and everything was brought in and done so well. It didn't take the piss out of the subject matter, which a lot of things do. It was done so serious, and I know going back, which is crazy, there's only 4 seasons of this was made, and if you watch, like I say, the later DC movies that were brought out recently, that went back to that premise of the animated series, the look, the feel, even the voice actors they're using back. I know there was the issue with Hush, which was absolutely terrible. On the majority of them, the Hush TV show was, the Hush TV film was terrible. Absolutely.
I was going to say, I didn't watch it. I've literally not long, like I think at some point this year, I read Hush for the first time. So it was completely blows away.
If you hadn't read Hush the comic, you might like it. But to change it so drastically in this TV film, it spoils it. The only other one I didn't like was your favourite comic, the
Killing Joke?
The Killing Joke, yes, because they made Bruce and Barbara have a relationship that felt really awkward.
That's no, I did not agree with that. I'm going to admit, when I started writing this list up last night, like ideas for it, this was number 1 for us, and I didn't pick it because I knew you would.
Yeah, this was number 1 on, like, even before I even wrote a list down. This was.
I knew it would be. I knew fine well, and I was like, you're losing a slot for something you know you're going to be able to talk about.
Yes.
I don't particularly like to admit that I like DC. I don't know what it is with this. I don't know if it's the Marvel fangirl in us or what. But when it comes to any any DC reading list, Batman is number 1.
Yeah.
There has been so many amazing titles come out of that character. Arkham Asylum is
a trippy,
amazing.
Very trippy.
It's very trippy, but well worth your patience because you have to have it in order to read it.
Yeah.
This animated series, when I was doing some research last night, the first thing it said was it was the first adult themed cartoon. They knew who they were. They were catering for you now.
Yeah.
Not you then, you now.
And watch it now. Again, it holds up. It's beautiful. The graphics, it's so film noir. It's very like say, it sounds strange. It's very like Dick Tracy and.
No, I totally get it. And
even Blade Runner, I would say, there's not like the futuristic aspects, but the look, the film, the buildings. Like I would always go back to this as if I was going to go back and watch a cartoon. I've many times just watched it, and it's got a very 40s or 50s feel to it as well.
It does. I totally get what you mean, but that isn't. Is that not how you see Batman a lot? Apart from like, I love the video games. And I love the fact that a new one's coming out soon. Like, yay! I don't know how many times I've bought them video games as well, because I keep buying them, selling them, and getting them because I cannot not have them in my life. They are so good, and I will always remember spoilers. The one where Joker dies at the end credits. It's Mark Hamill singing. Me and Anth, I swear to God, Anth had a lump in his throat, and I'm sitting there going, oh! like crying my eyes out over the fact that Joker's dead.
One thing I do adore about Batman, and again, I will fight anyone who tries to argue with us. He has the greatest rogue gallery in villains in any comic book. Full
Totally
stop.
agree.
Don't care what you say. You can go with anyone. I know, like I say, Spider-Man has some good villains. I would say he's
it's
close,
not. It's nothing in comparison to interest on Batman's rogue gallery. They are more interesting than Spider-Man's.
Yeah, the more scary.
And that's coming from me.
Like, look at the Scarecrow. It kicks on your dreams. Like, say, the Joker. No rhyme or reason. Just wants to cause chaos and destruction. Even the Penguin, who's just the mob boss, is weird, but again, can be quite scary. I lost love in Dr. Victor Freeze, who's basically shut himself from the world.
Yeah.
The Riddler, who's too clever for his own good, wants to make the world pay for making him feel stupid. I could just go on.
What a lovely way to look at the Riddler. I'd never really looked at it that way before.
Yeah.
That's so good.
But like I say, I've always had a lot of time for Batman. That was one of my favourite comics. And again, if we're naming comics that I would always recommend people to read, there's always the two. Hush, which again I know you're a big fan of, and I'm trying to get it right now because I'm sure I've got it wrong before. It's either I'm sure it's The Long Halloween, but trying to remember it off the top of my head. I don't want to. Yeah, The Long Halloween.
The Long Halloween. I'm making that.
I know they used elements of The Long Halloween in Batman Begins, but I know heavily in the new Batman with Robert Pattinson, it's using heavily based on that apparently because it is a detective story, which are not a lot of Batman are shown these days. Normally it's like the gadgets and Batman getting in fights, but the main thing with Batman, which again it sounds ridiculous, he is the greatest detective, and that's what, like I said, his comic was, like I said before he became Batman, was like, what was it? I've got it somewhere. I'm sure it was like I don't want to get the wrong name because it was some detective. Now my brain's none, but yes, I would always recommend The Long Halloween just because it's interesting. It shows you a different side, and it's quite slow and unwinding, and it takes you down a trip. Which
that's good because I felt Hush was very heart racing, like palpitation, need to get to the next page kind of book. Court of Owls, I thoroughly enjoyed. Like I was invested.
Modern Batman, that's brilliant. Like say that was quite because that was during the new 52 release. I know we're talking about the animated series, but now. But I would like to see going back. I would like to see a film based in the Court of Owls. I think that would be a very interesting film.
I think the TV series covered the Court of Owls. I never watched it. No, I didn't watch it either. No, but going back to Killing Joke, not great. Given it is, take out the Barbara Gordon bit of her and Batman. Take that out, and that is it. It was pretty good. And now the fact that Mark Hamill was in it. It was all right. If you want to understand Barbara's mindset and how the events of the Killing Joke actually affected her, read the new 52 Batgirl. It goes into it. Her PTSD through that is explained better than what that can do. I recommend that. And also, if I'm going to recommend things, I also want to recommend a documentary. It is phenomenal. The dedication this guy put into what he thought was an injustice. It's called Batman and Bill.
Right.
And it's about the recognition that Bill Finger didn't get because of Bob Kane. And because of this documentary is the reason you will see now Bill Finger's name on a Batman project.
Right.
Because it never used to. It always created by Bob Kane.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't. It says created by, and I hope to God that he's spinning in hell, because that's where he'll be. Because again, greed, money, it changes a person, and it heightens what's already there. And Bob Kane was a very greedy person. This documentary is phenomenal on the actual work that Bill Finger did in comparison to what
Yeah.
Bob Kane did. Because if we went off what Bob Kane did, you wouldn't be looking at the Batman you're looking at right now.
No.
It looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look at the drawings; it's horrendous, and he would have went with that.
Yeah.
And he came in. Bill Finger, your picture of the Joker, the white face, the makeup, all comes from Bill Finger. It's a very good documentary. It's called Batman and Bill. I can't recommend it enough. It has Bill Finger's family in there who, you know, are very bitter.
Yeah.
And it's understandable, very bitter about the fact that their father and grandfather was left with nothing. It's very much similar to a Jack Kirby situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee is very similar in respect to that. But the only difference is, for all Stan got quite a lot of recognition, it was always there on paper that that's actually Jack Kirby's work. Like people, they didn't have that with Bill. Really good.
Very good.
Recommend it.
I'll look out for it, but I did not know about that. Like I say, that aspect. But yes, again, whatever integration or version of Batman there is out there, I'll always have to be it, because that is my obsession. Batman is always going to be my number one. Like I say, you can keep Superman too nice, Mr. Blue Eyes, can't do no wrong. But Batman, there's always been that element where the human side of him is relatable, even though he's a billionaire, and that's what his powers is. He's a billionaire, and he's fueled by vengeance and hate and pain, which I think is so much more interesting than a lot of the superheroes out there. Yeah. And I think as a showcase, that shows off Batman better than, other than, I would say, the Chris Nolan trilogy has been done in a long time. I don't think any integrations of Batman would be done better. So I would always suggest, if they were going to make more Batman or another Batman cartoon, base it on that. Use that as the basis. Build from it, because that
learn from it.
They didn't do much wrong from that.
No, totally agree. You could learn so much just from them 4 series. And they did, because they took that aspect into the video games. Like, the video games work so well because it came off the back of the animated series. Like, you're using the same voices. I'm sure in Arkham Knight, have we not got Kevin Conway on that one as well? Like,
I think on most of them there were. I think it's when spoiler for the last one, when Batman dies. I think that was his last performance. He said he was going to be voicing Batman, but I don't know if he's done anything.
Because I think it was all 3 of them. It was Mark Hamill, Kevin Conway, and the second version of Harley Quinn, who is, oh my God, I absolutely love this woman. What is her name? Oh, what is her name? It's not the original voice of Harley is Arlene Sorkin. Really, Kevin Smith did a really good version of a really good interview with her and her involvement in it. But oh my God, who is the most famous person for doing a voice? What is her name?
So they're one of the most recent ones, a cartoon from
Keely Cuckoo.
Keely Cuckoo, but I don't know.
Tara Strong. Oh, that would have done my head in. Tara Strong. She, if you hear Harley in your ear, you're hearing Tara Strong. She is the epitome of, and I think it was them 3 working together for the last time, because after Harley got popular, Tara took over. Yeah. And they'd worked together, the 3 of them, for a very long time. And then the last game was their last hurrah together.
True. But that's also a good shout, though, when you talk about cartoons, because to be honest, if it goes on at the same level that it's doing now, the new Harley Quinn cartoon is absolutely fantastic.
Love it.
I would always recommend that to anyone who hasn't seen it. I think there's 2 seasons out. If you like stupid cartoon and a little bit adult humour, brilliant.
It's so good. I absolutely love this. I see a lot of me and Carolyn in Harley and Poison Ivy. Like, a lot of our personalities are very much similar to them too. It's quite like, you can understand. I understand how they're friends, because that is exactly how we are.
Should I start being worried that I'm going to get bumped off or something?
Not at all. We're not that evil. We're not as evil as them two. I absolutely loved it. I think I watched like the first few episodes, fell off it, and then came back to it came back to it, but I finished it this time, and it's Kaylee. I didn't expect Kaylee to do a good job of Harley. I really didn't.
Oh, she was brilliant. Absolutely
She was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But
even though I wouldn't mind seeing it doing a live action, maybe not a film, but maybe a TV spin-off, like live action.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I would watch anything with Kaylee in it. Kaylee in it, to be honest. She's so good. I love her as Penny. Yes. She's like my favourite. Love her to bits.
It's where she started as well.
And then Charmed.
Yeah.
She was in Charmed for a bit as well. Followed her for a long time. Right. That was a good choice. We could make a full episode on Batman, to be honest.
True.
We really could, because we
like
probably will at some point, because I think I don't like to admit it, and there's no reason not to, but when I start talking about Batman, I realize how much I do love Batman and how much I have actually read as well.
Yeah.
Like their Black series, from their DC Black series. Is it Black series?
No, yeah, it was the first one that came out, where it was the infamous the Bat one that was in it. And the first showed Batman's penis in the first issue.
Okay, I've not seen that one.
I bought it for £3.50 and I sold it for £60 because they actually because they discontinued it, because there was that many complaints about it, and it literally I'll show. I think I've got. I might have a picture somewhere, but literally it was just like the thinnest line of his outline of his penis, and there was uproar.
Wow, honestly, DC fans when they go in, they go hard. I will always remember the controversy over Batgirl, the Batgirl variant cover for the Joker 75th anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never actually. You can't actually buy that. It's only
no.
And someone's made up. But no, I remember that. Yeah.
The artist was devastated, and if you've not heard it, it was Batgirl held up. It wasn't by gunpoint, was it? Or was it? It had the Joker standing behind her with like a single tear rolling down her face, and
it was very.
I thought it was very powerful. Yeah. Very powerful, because there's Killing Joke is very much, I believe, up to your interpretation of what happened, because you get to see what is on page. It is up to you to determine what he actually did to her, because it's not implied, but again, it is hinted at. Yeah. Did he attack in a not very good way?
Yeah.
As opposed to just shooting her. And also that's what people believe, she was attacked, therefore that is a very insensitive picture to Batgirl. At the time I was furious because there was something else going on in the media, and I'm like, you know what, if you put your attention, the amount of passion and attention you have done in this variant cover into actual real life problems, like, you can conquer anything. But no, I kept my mouth shut because I don't like to start arguments on social media.
Yes, no. We'll leave Batman now, because like I say, we are going to come back probably over and over and over again.
Definitely. Definitely. So we'll go to my last one. I didn't think I was going to pick this one, and then when I wrote it down on paper, it made sense, and it makes sense to me because this is my level of humor. It started in 1997. It is still going today. And you know what? It's one of them series where it is so relevant with the times, it doesn't get fucking old. I think that's the first swear word I've done all this all this episode. It doesn't get old. It is South Park. I absolutely love this series. It is some of the funniest shit I have ever seen. And like I say, it is so relevant. They did a whole series about the election.
Yes. Oh, like they're very
not the most recent election.
When
the
you
one
think
where
about America as well, what they get away with and how they push the boundaries, and if anyone, I wouldn't say stands up, if anyone tries to go against them and say that like try and restrict what they can do, they come down hard on them. Like I remember
Hard.
the whole was it Isaac Hayes
Yep.
when he
Yep.
wasn't happy that they were poking fun at Scientology.
So they did a full episode on it.
So then it was hell on.
Yep,
But
and they killed him off.
Yes.
And do you know what? I watched something on that recently about Isaac Hayes, and he wasn't happy at the what they did with Scientology. So they do what they do. They did a full episode on it, and then they created like Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They're not people who were. They'll go after anyone basically, and he says they didn't see him complaining when they were doing episodes on Christianity, on Catholic, on Muslim. Didn't complain then, but the minute it hit home to him, and that's when he started kicking up an uprising. So no, we're just going to go even harder and just piss you off even more. But they're brilliant creators.
With South Park, I can pick up and watch it from time to time. It's not one of the ones I love. I think when it first came out, it was the shock factor because
it was shocking.
You never seen when they got George Clooney to do a voice of a gay dog, which was absolutely
brilliant.
Say the whole big gay owl character as well was so fun and
I'm super. Thanks for asking. I couldn't be better with things considering I'm okay. Sang so much on this episode.
I think, like I say, my favorite episodes with South Park is when the lampoon different things. Like I love the whole the Coon and stuff, and the Coon and Friends episodes where they take the piss out of like all the superhero genres. Then they go take the piss out of Lord of the Rings. They do that.
The fantasy ones.
Yeah.
The fantasy genre that they did, which leads into the video game Stick of Truth, which is one of my favorite video. God, what's he got? He's just reached up for something. What have he got? Oh, look at him! It's Cartman's character from his superhero character from South Park. Oh wow! What was he called? Mystery. Mysterion, that was it.
And
but
I haven't got my favourite character out of them, but I am going to put my hands on, which is Captain Chaos?
Captain Chaos Butters. Oh, hang on, 2 minutes. I don't have Captain Chaos, but I have my little friend here. Hang on, my headphone's not going back in because my fingernails are getting in the way.
Oh no!
Right, hold on. I got my little Butters. He's actually my sister's, who did not want him anymore, and I could not. And he's absolutely disgusting. He's manky. I could not see him go to a home, so I took him on. Butters is my favorite Captain Chaos. If you've played Stick of Truth, he is the best character to use. He has the greatest. He has the best powers, especially when he changes into Captain Chaos. He is really hard.
Yeah.
I love Stick of Truth. I love the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is absolutely hilarious. I just there's so much about it. Like I can literally go into a series and just stick it on and have it on the back. I probably will when I go and have my tea tonight.
How can a show get away with having Saddam Hussein having sex with the devil?
Because they just can.
Yeah.
Like I say, they did a whole series of the election of Hillary and Trump.
Yeah.
But obviously fitting into their universe.
It was Mr. Garrett, wasn't it?
Yes, but they make things so relevant, which is why and up to date, which is why they're still as strong as what they are. I
didn't get away with the last season that came out with the Teggerty Farm and about all the weed and stuff. Again,
I don't think is that on Netflix? I've only watched, if they're on Netflix, then I've watched them. If they're not, then I haven't.
But going back to something that was mentioned about Bob's Burgers, this show does good Halloween episodes. They always do. Like I say,
I've never noticed that. I think I noticed it more with Bob's Burgers because there's not as many series as they are. What we're in South Park, 20 something?
20 odd now, yeah. The good
20 something.
Yeah, I think. But I haven't watched it religiously. If it's on, I'll watch it. But I'll keep going back to the Imagination Land episodes as well. Just them quite entertaining.
I love the member berries. Member. So make my sister say to each other all the time, member. I'm a sucker for a documentary, as you probably have guessed. There was a very short documentary on the making of South Park. Very fascinating. One episode takes 1 week, takes 7 days. You watch them from day 1 to day 7. And did you know Bill Hader? Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it was
Superbad. Yeah, he is a writer for South Park.
Right. Okay.
Or I don't know if he is today. This was when he's in the writers' room with Matt and Trey, and they literally do an episode on a board, act it out as best they can, like the amount of fights that come out of it, but they have to be done in a certain time for them to start the animation, to start the voiceover. It takes 7 days for one episode.
Right. Okay.
And it is so fascinating. They are tremendously lovely people for the topics that they cover on South Park. They are very sensitive, very caring, very understanding of each other. It doesn't look like they are two people who live in each other's pockets, that they can give each other their own space.
Yeah.
They're very much, it's like one person. It's so weird. Their relationship is fantastic. I mean, it has to have been, they've worked together. Like, South Park is not the only thing that they've done together.
Yeah. Because it was basketball as well that was done. I'd say one of my go-to films when I was, if I'm feeling sick or if you just want to turn your brain off and watch something stupid.
Mallrats and basketball was one of them.
Banned from the Facebook page, that one. Orgasmatron or something, whatever it's called.
Yeah. I just always remember the song, and now you're a man, a many man. I think I've sang so much on this episode.
Save some me, don't worry. Yeah.
So South Park, it's still relevant today. It's still funny. Watch the film. It is hilarious. It is so funny. Video games, I wasn't too keen on the most recent one, but Stick of Truth is phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant.
I think with South Park as well, you're a good point. Like, say, it does try and stay relevant, but it hasn't gone past the point of where it gets self-stale too much, because it moves other characters on. Where like the likes of The Simpsons and stuff, where it is very stale now, and it's just doing the same type of jokes. And what got to me with The Simpsons as well, they tried to improve on the look as well, and that kind of drew us away because it was looking too clean, too nice. Where South Park, it's the same. If you look at it back in the first season, it's the same kind of look, and like having
definitely
Tyson as a Power Ranger villain, which was just unbelievable as well.
They've certainly brightened it up, but the main heart of it is not changed. No. Like, I know the opening credits, they've only changed the opening credits once in their whole entire run, and I think that's when because Kenny's not in it anymore. I don't think he is anyway.
I think he came back. I can
never remember.
He got killed off, left because they tried to replace him with other characters, and they brought him back, but they just don't kill him off as much now.
But Butters is like one of my favorite. I love Butters. Cartman's still like, it's very cliche to say, but he is still like one of my favorites. He's so funny, especially the mystical ones, like the Lord of the Rings one. And there's an episode where they all become obsessed gamers.
Yeah.
And they gradually get bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the whole episode. It is brilliant. I am actually going to stick some on after this. I'm going to have my tea. I've now mentioned it. I've like planted the seed and I'm going to watch some South Park. But for a series that started in '97 and still like it's had peaks and. Like it had like a high point, didn't it?
Yeah, it had its hype where it was just crazy, and they were getting like it was like one of the biggest things ever. Then it dropped out. The thing that came back. I know the last time that it had its big major controversy was when they did the whole George Lucas and Steven Spielberg banging Indiana Jones, raping him. That was the last thing I think they had where it was like major controversy, where I think there's been a lot of things on the show that has caused ruptions, but I don't think I think it's one of them now where tries to stay relevant, but I don't think it can do well. Saying that, they'll watch it, bring out the next season, and get cause World War III or something like that.
But you know what though? If it's not true, then what are you worried about? Like, if what they're saying is not true, why are you getting so upset about it? Just write it out. It's when they start speaking the truth, then I'd get worried. But people are just far too sensitive, and I think South Park are getting to the point now where they don't give a shit. They really don't give a shit.
To be fair, they've made the money. They must, like, the amount of merchandise and everything. I think everyone owns, like, say, a South Park, like, say, kind of everything. Like, say, I used to have a plushie Kenny at one point.
Oh, who didn't? Well. I had a Cartman. Michaela had a Stan. Like, Michaela's my sister. She's a big fan of South Park. She finds it, like, to this day, hilarious. Like, I think she actually got me back into it. Yeah. Because she says, like, you need to watch, like, it's the new thing. I think it was when the Scientology part was on. She was like, you need to watch this, and especially the whole Michael Jackson, the airplane one. Yeah. Oh, that was so funny, so good, such a good series. I had to put it on my list. So that is our top 5.
Yeah, we talked a lot more than I was expecting. To be honest, we've done well. Yeah. I think once we got started flowing with that went really well.
we were really worried about this episode because it was a one where you could say, right, what's your number 1? What's your number 2? What's your number 3? Like, you could literally go through it so easy. But no, I'm quite surprised. It's been good. I was very worried about this episode.
Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, thanks for that. Anything you want to add? Any news there, young lady?
I do want to say congratulations to Kelly, who won the T-shirt last week.
Ah, yes, she won our first Nerdy Up North T-shirt, where we kind of changed the look of the Beetlejuice logo and put it across and put in the words of Nerdy Up North. And yes, so she won the competition last week. And talking on the back of T-shirts as well, we have had our first person buy a T-shirt from us as well, which they're not generally on sale, but we did have one of my friends message me privately asking to make a shirt, which I have. And so yeah, so we are selling merchandise when we can.
When we can. No, I just wanted. Kelly's a girl after my own heart. Her favorite podcast is Last Podcast on the Left, which is one of mine. And she made me cry by saying that we were as good. And I was like, oh.
You don't really handle people saying nice things about you, do you?
No, I don't do very well at all. I think my first defense is to just cry. I just get weepy. So congratulations, Kelly. You looked absolutely fantastic. That T-shirt choice was the best. I don't have any more. I don't have any more to say. I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah. So, like I say, again, thank you for if you listen to us talk about like things we are passionate about, which is always fun for us. But I hope you do enjoy it as well. We have spoken to a few people about joining us on the podcast in the future. So I know we had Carolyn join us, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a different aspect.
That was fun. It was fun having my bud with me. It'll be interesting just to Paul has reached out to other people to get on, because it's going to get to the point where we're going to start. Things are just going to start becoming difficult because we're starting to get like the rhythm of what we know of each other, and so to add an extra person in there would make things more interesting. So Paul's working on that. If you are watching us on YouTube, hi everyone, and please remember to like, share, subscribe. Come join us on Facebook, Nerdy Up North Community Facebook page, and we are on Instagram. And if you could like and subscribe on iTunes and Spotify, and if you can be a darling and review us on iTunes, it just helps other people to see our podcast and get involved with the Facebook community page, which is thriving, absolutely thriving. Like it blows my mind every day that even with the world coming into its normality once again, people are still engaged and involved in it. It's great, love it.
No, like I said, it does blow. Like I say, as you said, it blows your mind to think that people are still coming on talking about nerdy shit, which, like I say, I love. But Just to go back a little bit for what you said about as well about the guests. I know Kelly, who won the T-shirt, has mentioned that she wouldn't mind coming, so she might be a guest in the future.
She better not be saying nice things all the time. I can't do a whole episode crying my eyes out.
No, that's it. That was something to look forward to. But again, hopefully we've got a few more surprises to come future. But again, yeah, get liking, let's subscribe, and like I say, if you've got any comments, you agree, you disagree, you think we're talking shite,
let us know. Get on the Facebook page, get on the comments, let us know. We're not scared. We'll happily hold our hands up and go, yeah, we're talking a lot of shit.
Yes, but no, it's been a pleasure speaking to you again, Sam. Thanks for putting up with us for the last hour or so. Hopefully speak to you again next week.
Yep, go on, say it.
So same bat time, same bat channel. I'd like to see you later.
Stay nerdy, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.